And we are live. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Curtis. I'm joined by two wonderful guests today. Firstly, my homegirl. You might recognize her from CBC's hit show Romeo Section. I was on a great show. You might have seen her on her new Netflix hit with Max Mikkelsen, Polar. Ladies and gentlemen, Fei Ren is in the house. Beep, 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 beep. And also, we are joined by a lovely, lovely human being. You might know her from, I don't know, Flash, Supernatural, this little show that you might not have heard of. Maybe you've heard of called The 100. I don't know. Apparently it's a big, everyone's talking about it. I know her personally as Wanda from Siren, or the ping pong extraordinaire that has been on every single TV all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Bethany Brown is in the house.
Whoa!
I'm joined by two more of my lovely sisters from Vancouver. How are you guys?
Oh, I'm good. The weather's beautiful. We're in phase 3, so work is starting back up. Feels good. Feels really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same with you, Faye. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Like, especially seeing you guys' faces. And it's always up and down, right? But then there's a constant, like I have to feel gratitude for what I have. Everything is good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. You guys look incredible as always. You guys look like you're in great spirits. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers. You look incredible. I'm all about that balance, you know?
Mine is ice. But you know what? I have to say this. I have to get this out of the way first and foremost. You guys, I love watching you two shine because since I've met both of you, you guys are, and I've worked with both of you, two of the most sort of brightest like lights from Vancouver. You guys, when you walk in a room, you guys are so uniquely your own flavor that every time you walk in a room, it just lights up. And to have
That's
you
so
both,
nice.
to have you both on this show today, you know, I would, if I were you watching at home or wherever you are, I would try to turn, you know, the dimmer down a bit because you. But yeah, thank you guys.
That's so cute.
Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you for saying that. And it's funny because me and Faye are like best friends.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, yeah, maybe
Well,
we're
we're in the room together.
criminally unique, you know what I mean? Like just two peas in that same weird pod.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How do you guys know each other? How did you guys meet?
Oh, actually, it's funny because I remember Beth from my first booking.
Spicy.
We worked it together, but at that time she was busy.
Okay.
And then we didn't really connect. This is a filtered version. My feeling was like, oh, she's too famous that she doesn't want to talk to me. and then she has a different version. But then later on we met in a film class, and then and then over the year just keep crossing paths, and then we started talking to each other, and then we were just in love.
And that's his history. My version of the story is I was on that commercial, I was technically like being stalked online. So I was like really into my phone and consumed with like trying to shut down like this craziness that it was erupting. And that was my first time with like an online stalker. So I was like nervous and like consulting hair and makeup about like, what do I do? And then, so yeah, I was busy. And then I saw Faye, I actually saw her shoes first in the film class. And I was like,
yeah, so I should say that that's partially why she shines so hard, is because she'll most of the time, there's a chance she's rocking some sort of like clothing that's really out there, but only she can pull off.
Her fashion is on point. I'm like, yo, those shoes, like those kicks. And I was like, I need to know this person. She's dope. And so, yeah, we slowly became friends. And then when we really fell in love, the rest was truly history. Now we hang all the time.
Yeah.
Look at what I found. Look at what I found, guys, on the good old internets. This is the most. Look at you guys. Guys, get out of here. Get out of here.
That's so cute.
I saw this photo. This was the photo that I saw, and I was like, all right, I need to talk to these two. I need to figure out.
See, we shine so bright. The camera can't even catch.
You guys make a hot couple. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, we would.
Right? Yeah.
We were saying like why we haven't played together on the screen yet, right? I would love to.
Soon come.
Yeah.
Soon come. What are you guys drinking? You guys both drinking coffees?
Yeah.
I have espresso with oatmeal.
Oat milk?
Oat milk. Yeah, what did I say? Oatmeal. Yeah, oatmeal is different thing.
Literally the breakfast. I was like, oh dang, okay.
I haven't finished the coffee, so it's not awake yet.
I have my very favorite coffee. My favorite coffee shop is Calabria on Commercial Drive.
Nice.
So that's what I'm sipping right now.
Yeah,
Speaking about you know, our flavors just now. If you guys were to be a coffee, what flavor would you be? Or what kind of coffee would you be?
Oh, cocoa with a bit of nutty.
Wow. Okay. I'm like, I don't know. What would I be?
You'd be something sweet and maybe even like a little rose water in there, I think. Like a little bit floral.
Wow.
Rose water.
Yeah.
Rose water,
Like,
honey coffee.
Yeah, you know the lavender
Oh,
latte? But like,
lavender latte. Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love lavender latte. That's good.
Nice. I like that. I would just be
What
like,
would you be, Curtis?
man, I'm boring. I think I'd just be, I'm like an Americano. I'm just a fancy ass coffee.
I drink that every day.
Coffee, really.
Used to be. Yeah. I used to be like every morning Americano. Like a cup of Americano.
Same.
Yeah. My fave.
So how have you guys been though? You guys,
Wait, though, you know that's the same coffee that Chris Haddock drinks, who did Romeo Section.
What's that?
Mm-hmm.
Just Americano?
You only drink black.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Did you work on Romeo Section as well?
No, but me and Chris are like best friends.
What? You know what? You've told me that before. Wow.
And I've never worked with him.
I bumped into you guys at a JJ Bean once. Do you remember that? Yes.
Yes,
Right.
I do remember that.
I was living right above there for a hot minute there, and I saw Chris all the time. Wow. So I did season 1. Fei did season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Gary,
We overlapped a little, but we didn't do a scene together, huh?
No, we did not. But fun fact, Fei was my Mandarin teacher back in the day. Remember that, Fei?
你会说中文吗？ See, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
You were so gracious to help coach me for, I think it was this movie that I did, and it was so funny, man, because I would just naturally try to insert my Cantonese into the Mandarin, and it was like shoving, you know, a circle into like a square peg, just trying to make it happen, and she's just always rolling her eyes like, oh my god. But I could never retain any information, Fei. You were just too damn shiny and good looking and stuff that I couldn't pay attention to.
It takes a
I
while.
should be like teaching you like this.
Exactly.
But yes, if there was a third season, without a doubt, I think you would have been a wicked character on that show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a funny thing because like me and Chris have never worked together, but we always are so creative together. And I don't think he's ever seen me in his world of like, you know how his worlds are very gritty?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but for me, you know, for us, we're like, no, we're actors. Like, we've got this range of things. So I think it would have been such a fun thing to make that bridge. But, you know, things is coming.
Yeah. It's funny because from what I've seen of you, I've been in the room with you a couple of times. I don't think of you as the opposite of that. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're very, very bookable for a lot of the lighter stuff, maybe some comedy, rom-coms and all that for sure. But I've also seen you do some really kind of grounded, heavier shit that's really dope too. So that's really, it's really kind of interesting to hear.
Very
it's interesting,
dynamic.
right? Because well, people just have a certain idea in their head, and it's kind of like, I think, CW or like gritty cable.
Right.
And if they've only seen your CW work, then they've only seen your CW work. But as actors, I think we can see that in each other, and we've gotten to see each other, like you, Curtis, in the room. Man, every audition when you were in the room, they were like 10 times better than like any other reader.
I wish sometimes that like from some of our best auditions, like we could somehow obtain the footage or like the magic that in the room, because that would be better than any demo reel that I could ever put together. You know,
there's
something magical about when you're so vulnerable in a room, trying to show your art, you know, to the people that make the decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And there's times when you were in there, Curtis, and it actually felt dangerous. Even though we were so far away, there was so much tension in that room. And on his end, he wouldn't break the tension with his next line. Like, he just hold it. And so you're like, whoa, this is like magic. This
That's
is
so exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's really generous of an actor to give that much too, right?
Of course.
Yeah, to sustain that.
People will never know about these projects that we were so close to, or that we absolutely just brought it in the room. You know what I mean? That's I think one of the disappointing things in that is like, it's not like, you know, it's not like as a singer where you can post a cover of a song and do your rendition, your version of it. You know, we can't talk about the stuff we're doing. We can't post any of that, unfortunately. But,
and I think that's, like you say, like a singer, it's theirs. So whatever they do, it's still their property, even if they can't sell it and make money off of it. But for what we do, it's not our property. We do our best version of it, and it's their property. So it's such a different, go ahead.
Actually, come to think of it, I do know that some casting directors do keep them on file. So if they think that someone's right for a role, they're trying to push you for it, they will kind of dig up from the archives to showcase your work. So, I mean, I don't know about all of them, but I certainly know that some of them have the capability to do so.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna put this out there. I would really like to work with you both at some point. This year's
Let's manifest that. Let's manifest that for sure.
Yeah, I was like,
I mean, you and I, we rep Trisco. Fei, who are you with?
Play.
Let's talk to our people. Let's make it work. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, we can also create something ourselves. As you were talking about like actors owning the project, I was like, well, if we create it or write it,
for sure,
we could. Yeah.
Do you guys write as well?
Yeah.
Starting to. Just started trying.
I'm sure.
I think this kind of period of like, for me, it's a lot of void, and it kind of opens up some of my perspective. Oh, maybe try something new.
Right. Yeah. I think this time that you know, the COVID has sort of allotted us. You know, everyone took this time to do, I think, what they needed. But especially in the later months, you know, like more recently, I've been really finding the power, bringing it back, sort of back closer to me, in creating the things that want to create. And that's all over the spectrum, not just in acting or in film and TV, but, you know, whether it's painting, whether it's, you know, just writing sort of creatively, or making granola that I'm selling.
That's really cool.
Just doing the things that honestly like bring me joy and happiness, and yeah, and writing has definitely been one of them. I got a few things in development right now that, I mean, you two would both be great for. So and I've told you about that too. Last time I bumped into B, I was like, shit, you know what, we should have got you in the last one, but you were shooting this film with my boy Trezzo in.
I love Trezzo.
Where were you, like in Guam?
Yeah, we were with the Air Force, and like it went so deep, that project. Like I was like training with the Air Force. They gave me access to all their aircraft. I launched F-15s. Like,
wow.
Yeah, while I'm on the comms, like pulling the pins out of, so then like the wheels can move, you know. We went up in a C-130, which is like a massive cargo plane. You can fit 2 like Greyhound buses in the back of it. And yeah, and me and Trezzo were up there like acting. So there's a camera and they're shooting us. And like we're pushing cargo out the back, like medical supplies to service the underserviced islands around Guam. Mm-hmm. And so you're literally sprinting to the very back of this aircraft that's open. Wow. And just hoping you don't sprint out the back. Of course, you're like tethered in, but it won't grab you until you're like 45 degrees out of the aircraft. Whoa. Because they use the load to be pushed that far. Yeah. And when we were shooting in there, they were like, it was a pilot upgrading. So they would like tilt the aircraft on its side and bank around the little islands, and then tilt the other way and bank again around a different island. So they were training for like high threat areas, like, you know, war-torn areas. And so when you're on the bottom of the aircraft, you're like 2.4 Gs. So you're like 2.4 times your body weight. So I would like my knees buckling under my own body weight, and I was sweating, and we're shooting this, right? And then on the other side, within like 3 to 5 seconds, I'm floating and zero gravity, and the camera guy's floating. Yeah.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the
That's intense.
Some of the experiences that we're gifted, you know, in this crazy business, huh? That's probably got to be up there for you, right?
Oh, I would have never thought that I would get access to the United States Air Force.
Woo! I heard, so I've always been curious about sort of like the consultants on set, like working with a bunch of actors. Like how were the guys on that show for you? Were they kind of like, oh God, like actors trying to be all.
Is that what Trezzo said? Because they did that to Trezzo a lot.
Oh, no. Well, I didn't say that, so I'm sure they did. I'm just basing off of my own experience. Like on Siren, I'm often driving a boat, right? And so I work very closely with the owners of the boat, and every time I look over, they're rolling their eyes at me. I'm always fucking their shit up, I swear.
That's so cute. That is so cute. Well, we were a bit different because we got like a month of training before we actually got onto the base.
Yeah.
So, and we had like a manual, like a full training manual. So I love to go deep. So I literally went through the manual every day, and I put myself on a full training regime. So I was doing like the runs, I was doing the sit-ups, I was doing the push-ups. So then by the time I got on set, there was really not a lot of, you know, flaw. And even like everything's down to a T, like how you like bloom the bottom of your pants and like where your boot comes out and sits, and how you tuck under like the strings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's like the blouse or something. And so for me, it was all just like methodical, but for other people who were, you know, more into the party of it, because a lot of actors, you know, they're down to party. They could do it. I'm not gonna point any fingers. I'm saying Trezzo, right? No, I'm joking. But like, then, you know, there might have been a couple things hanging out, and then the people do have to kind of come and tuck you in and like, you know, keep you on point. But
work with Alex too, Alexander Ludwig. He's a gem of a human too. I met him a couple of times.
He has like, when you talk about shiny people, so much energy and aura about him. He was great to work with. really great to work with. He set a really cool standard on set too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I've been following his sort of journey. I met him, I want to say like 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
Ireland actually, when he was shooting Vikings, and you can really tell that he was really on the cusp of like breaking loose from sort of being like the number 3 or 4 on that show, and he was really kind of cultivating this space where he was ready to be a leading man. And so, I'm a big fan of his, and to see his, the projects that he's taken on the last few years, I'm so excited for that guy, and he deserves it. But you're right, he has this very like welcoming sort of like my brother, like, he totally embraced that Vikings sort of, mentality and
create the family, but also like trust, but also like I just actually watched some of his work on Vikings. Bjorn, I think his character's name was, and it was so intense. It was so intense, like so this close to violent, and I was just like, oh man, that is
this close.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm being generous. It was really making me nuts. And it was so cool because I was like, yo, that is definitely, put some goals ahead of me. But I have to also say Kat Graham was in that movie.
Yeah.
And for me, she's been so generous with like the how-to of the industry and the pulling me on board with, kind of things into the future that, we're thinking of and stuff. So I have to give her a mad shout out and so much love and gratitude too.
Oh, wicked. And these are all things that you're gonna pull from, that when you lead a set one day, you're gonna set a pretty wicked tone too. So that's
right.
That's amazing. I wish I can't wait to experience something like that. I don't know if do you recall working with the focus puller named Lee by any chance? Bigger dude, brown hair. He was the focus puller on our show, and he worked on that movie. And he said that I think him and the whole crew showed up, like you said, a month early or something like that, and none of the camera equipment came on time. So they basically had a paid vacation in Guam for a month or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Showing me tons of pictures. It was nutty. But would you say that so yeah, is that your top rated experience as an actor on a set ever?
So far it is, because it was actually, go ahead.
No, sorry.
It was everything I dreamed before I got into the industry that I thought the industry would be. Like, we were all in the same hotel as the crew. So the crew would like go out like fishing and bring back like this massive fish and cut it up in front of the hotel, and like they bought a barbecue and we were barbecuing all together, and so we all just like bought stuff, and like it was such camaraderie, and we each pushed each other to the next level as well. So we didn't let anybody kind of like sit back or like repeat some of the stuff that they'd done before. It was always kind of giving each other that nudge and like keeping each other accountable. But then like Netflix was there, and I got taught how to pitch new projects because that's what was up, and that was what I was in. And being kind of pulled into the pitch of new projects, being like, but what if we did, you know what I mean? And I'd never seen that before, and I always dreamed that that's what it would be like on set, like a really creative environment that was bubbling up with new ideas. And some of the environments that I've worked in are more like, yo, I'm the number one, I'm the number two, let's crush you guys down and keep a very, specific division between the hierarchy here. But that was not that movie. It was like, let's break down the hierarchy, let's be mad creative, have all the fun, but also like keep the wickedest standard and like punch above our class. Like make a better movie than what we had originally seen or thought of.
Yeah. Cool.
It's like collectively being like a goal.
It always starts with, I think, the 1 and 2, as they say, shit rolls downhill. And I'm sure you've done your fair share of shows where, that was the case. But that's so cool. So good to know. We need to talk then. You know, we'll be in touch. You know how
Love
to
it.
pitch to Netflix. What about you, Faye? What's been your favorite show you've ever worked on so far?
Well, well, I actually think like overall experience, the coherence, Romeo Section was so smooth.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel that, but I was like, since then I haven't seen a production just move every gadget together so coherently. And it was so easy. I can just focus on the work, not anything else. There was that environment created that I can be fully free in my own work.
Yeah.
That I really missed.
That was a really great crew, and you came on second season, so everyone already had sort of ironed out the kinks, right? And everyone knew how to flow with each other, and there was like a shorthand there. And everyone was really excited to come back.
That's true. Yeah.
That energy and that excitement behind it, which was nice. But you absolutely killed it. You crushed that show.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great.
For
but
me,
yeah.
Well, I auditioned for that show, I think 2 or 3 times, but the auditions were never lines, right? So what Chris did was really cool. Before he even started, this was like a month before. This was during pre-production, but they
the meet up, right?
Yeah, they hadn't cast anyone. He just met with all of these actors. Like they scheduled 5-minute reads, right? And he just talks to you and feels you out, feels your vibe.
Yeah,
and I hear that he picks the people that he's kind of attracted to, and then he kind of writes around that sort of vibe and that energy of the person, creates these characters around them. And I thought that was so unique.
Yeah, that was really, and I think because of that, I was able to give him the opportunity, because prior to that, I had 0 credit. I was just starting. But I actually auditioned for the first season's one of the series regular character. Wow. And I auditioned 4 times. I got to the chemistry read.
Okay.
So I think it's like, had I not had that opportunity, I would never be able to. Right. Sorry?
No, same with Andrew. Was that who you were reading?
No, I was auditioning the character. Which character was I? The lawyer character. The role actually shifted afterwards, but then like it was in the process of writing, the role shifted quite a few times.
I see.
But yeah,
what about this guy?
Polar. Oh yeah, that was like an exciting experience, because it's like similar to Beth's experience. It's very immersive, and then I had a seal, like a special, how do you say, special force person or SEAL, training me for gun, like weapon training. So I trained that for a week. So I was able, like, we shot buckets of bullets. That was really fun. With Catherine, it's like, when I saw her on board, I was just like, I screamed, and then the director was like, "You like her, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." Like,
wow. Sorry, we cut out there, but sorry, Faye was talking about working with Catherine Winnick, also from Vikings. She was one of the stars of that film.
Yeah, and I saw her in hotel room, and I was like, the hotel door opened, the elevator, and I just like, "Catherine!" And then she was like, "Who the hell is this?" I was like, "I'm on the show too." Yeah. But huh?
Where did that movie shoot?
Toronto.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
And so that's super exciting. And to see how she owns her work, that was a huge lesson for me, because she just really trusted. She started getting into the character and being in the character, and then the whole flow happens, even starting from the rehearsal process. Right. Like there's directions coming from blocking and lighting and everything. She just incorporated it, but then adding so much nuances to it.
Right.
I was just like, whoa, so effortlessly owning it, like so badass. So I got super nervous. So that scene, I was like, I was shitting myself. Sorry for my language, but I was like, oh. But then it looks like I was just like really aggressive in the scene because I think I was just super insecure, which was like perfect dynamic for the character.
Right.
Yeah.
It was cool because I'm a big fan of like the John Wick sort of universe, and that show was kind of you know, reminiscent of I don't know if you've seen any of them, but you know, in terms of the action, in terms of the cool kind of
vibe, yeah. And then the director, Jonas Arkland, he is very specific on the editing. I think it's like the rhythm, because he come from the
music video almost.
Yeah. It's like it's a really, a lot of his movies are like just boom, 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 and there's a lot of rhythm, and it's kind of reflect the anxiety of the character, and a kind of I think it just made it so unique. The movie has that specific level of violence and excitement and fucked upness of the character, and it's kind of reflected in all the things. It's almost making a lot of bold statement at the same time. It was very shocking.
which is perfect for you. Like when you walked on set, they're probably like, all right.
It was fun because I was like, when we were in the premiere, we had a premiere in New York, and when we were in premiere, I remember just like all the audience, I can hear everybody like just like all kinds of reaction. And it was a really fun movie to see it in the movie theater. I'm sure. Yeah. I think originally they had a release plan for all the movie theaters, and then it went into only on Netflix online. Yeah. Because of COVID, or was it before COVID? No, that was prior to COVID. I think it was just how violent the movie had gone to.
Yeah, it was pretty violent. And pretty spicy at times. There was a couple. Very spicy. Scenes in there that I only watched about 3 or 4 times. So. Muy picante, as we would say. Yeah. What have you guys? I'm curious. Like, what else have you guys been doing in these past few months? Have you any shows you've been watching or any books you've been reading that you care to share about? Beth, you go first.
Oh, thank you, Fei. I love being put on the spot, especially when my brain goes totally blank, and I'm like, what have these past few months been? What is my life?
Crazy. What is
I had the opposite feeling. I was like, well, Beth has done a lot, and then that's why I was like, go ahead. Like,
oh, really? Fei, can you tell me what I've done? I forget.
No, I'm not telling your story, but
from my end, it looks like you guys have just been championing and just conquering the world together. You know, whether it's you know, BLM rallies to very you know, female empowering collaborations. Like I saw this one. This picture.
Yeah.
That's a strong picture.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's actually really interesting. Because Fei and I were both in that campaign, and it's the unslaved movement. And it's because there is so much sex trafficking, and to bring awareness to that, of course, but then also to do what we can to vehemently disagree with it, stand in female empowerment, absolutely. Yes, Fei and I have been at a lot of Black Lives Matter rallies.
We had beautiful conversations, lots of evolutions, I feel like, learning.
Yeah, really deep conversations, even with our friends or people we don't know as well, whether that be online or in person, and really trying to do what we can to dismantle white supremacy, because it's in no way is it an anti-white, or, you know, if it's going to be patriarchy and anti-men, it's truly anti-white supremacy or anti-sex trafficking. right? In that way.
Which is different from anti-man, like I said, and anti-white, which is the
Yes,
misconception, right?
exactly, because we can actually all
different.
be on the same team and going towards the same goal, right? Because we will all benefit at the end of the day.
You're
So
anti that, you're kind of just pro-racist, really, is all you are.
Yeah.
right?
I mean, the funniest thing is, being down in LA, especially, I think there's a big misconception that we don't experience racism or anything in that sort of vein up north, which I don't think could be further from the truth. I mean, it's a different type of thickness of racism or blatant racism. Like, we don't have the history that the United States does, but I don't know about you guys, but we're all POCs here. But I've experienced, as from as early as I can remember. I remember being like a 4 or 5 year old kid and seeing my grandfather have to stand up and fight so that my father wouldn't have to, or like, so that I wouldn't have to go through any of that. I've seen my father, he stood up against people, for as long as I can remember, like I said, against sort of bigotry and just idiocy, and then now I feel like I'm at that age where, I'm doing whatever I can to stand up, and I have my I don't tolerate any kind of, I'm seeing a lot of this like anti-Asian crime and violence, and it really, really irks me. I was talking to my dad about it. I'm like, wow, isn't it crazy how you used to tell me that, every time you got into a fight with someone over some racial shit, you used to tell me that you would do it so that we wouldn't have to go through it. But like, look at the world now. Look at what's going on. It's like we've reverted back, 40, 50 years. Isn't this insane? I'm going on a tangent here, but my point is, in Canada, like, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, let alone just in Canada.
It's in the form of microaggression, almost like more nuanced, more subtle, not always captured on camera, and always gaslighted as, oh, like you're just being sensitive, or oh, what did I do? Like, and it comes from, sometimes the people really don't know what they did or said, and don't know the damage. So I think that comes with education. Me and Beth talked a lot about it, because sometimes I would be experiencing something and being so deeply disturbed and uncomfortable. I have to go through therapy to unprogram it, like dismantle the whole thing. But then afterwards, when I talk to Beth, and there's a lot of reflection on similar experience.
Right.
Yeah.
And we would be like, whoa, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's microaggression. It's come from ignorance. It comes from the ideology of the white supremacy.
Right.
So a lot of entitlement, a lot of prejudice.
It's not necessarily, not as deep as America, but these microaggressions, like you said, they all add up, and eventually, we push it down, or we take so much of it in that it just over time it compounds.
And it could be, I find that the real danger can be like, because it's not overtly like obvious hatred where you can label this is wrong, stop doing it. Right. It's more like subtle, and then you're like, I often don't process it until 2 days later, and then realize, oh, that person was being really not nice, or oh, that doesn't come from a nice place, or oh, that was racist. But then think about that person who said that, she or he won't even know, right? Because I experienced it, and I was so uncomfortable, and I had to take days to process. I don't know, like, I think also the danger of gaslighting as, oh, it's just, they're probably just ignorant, or they didn't mean to hurt, or it's not really wounding me so obviously, and somehow we dismiss it and not truly heal it or address it. That become dangerous over time.
Well said.
Yeah. The good thing is, like, when you were saying reverse back 40, 40 years or something. I think it's not so much reverse, because when we were in the the march, it was so empowering. Like I had goosebumps all over me. It's just like people coming from all backgrounds, all different ages are standing up together, anti-racist, for Black Lives Matter, right? So I was like, oh, actually there are a lot of just beautiful progressive mind. We just don't see them on media sensationalized platform.
I agree with that completely, Faye, because
Yeah.
I was at 5 years ago, well, 7 years ago, maybe now, at one of the first BLM marches for Trayvon Martin. And there was maybe 50 people to 250 people there, depending on, the time. And when we were there, how many thousands of people were there? We couldn't see the back. And again, it was faces of so many colors, so many white allies who were saying, put your white bodies between, sorry, this makes me want to cry, but between like police officers and our people of color and our Black and Indigenous people. And it was this recognition of like, your whiteness keeps you safe. It truly is merely the color of my skin that makes that interaction much more unsafe. And I think people didn't recognize that previously. And the other thing that I think that we're seeing right now is because when you get these polarizations happening and we're in this hyper polarized environment, we see these people really coming out of the woodwork with white supremacy. It's like, these old dinosaurs that are like, I'm not going to die and go extinct. So they're really fighting back right now, Yeah.
That was a good impression.
And so we get this real clashing happening. But I do see the change. I do see the progress. I do see that we are at a whole new environment. And it's at a boiling point right now for sure. But it's that boiling point that like changes the trajectory of history, and shoots us in a whole new direction. So then our kids hopefully will not have to experience what we've experienced, will not have to experience microaggressions. One of the things, because I think in Canada for myself, we experience a lot of colorism. So it's not blatant racism, but it's if you're mixed race, or if you don't have an accent, or if, there's all these little rules, you're easier to hire, right? Yeah. And we think that's an okay thing to say. And people think that's an okay thing to buy into. That's white supremacy in another form, right? That's these kind of microaggressions that keep certain people small, and other people saying, well, yeah, like, of course I get the lion's share of roles. And at the end of the day, I bought into that too.
Right.
Because I am
internalized, right? Yeah.
Right?
I never examined those colonial standards sometimes. I used to think, oh, accent, damn it, it's brought me so much shame and guilt.
Right.
And I didn't realize how wrong that is. Like, what is there to be ashamed about me studying? I started studying proper English when I was 18. Like, give me a fucking break. Like,
you speak multiple languages fluently. Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
And a lot of people that I know coming from all backgrounds migrated to North America. Right. They're working all walks of life.
Right.
Right? All walks of lives. My grammar. But it's like, truly, like you go out, not everybody's speaking a standard accent. Right. And it's not something wrong with them. It's just like, it just is. That's part of the multicultural.
Yeah, well, the irony is that we live in a country, whatever, if it's Canada, if it's America, UK, in the West, like, part of what makes these countries so great is the fact that you have people from all over the world moving there, right? The fact that
the culture is so rich. Yeah,
there's this idea of freedom and again, what makes the country great is that you have people that want to live here, but you want to have people that really bring something to the table, right? And so to judge people on being other is such an interesting thing. I mean, we go back to sort of that trying to fit a circle into a square peg thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which you're never going to get anywhere doing that. And we have to change that square peg. We have to change the system altogether. We have to change this whole outlook altogether, because yeah, it's getting to be quite archaic and fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, this one woman had said to me, and she's white European, and it was a really interesting, and she also actually had come from Africa pre-apartheid times. So she's in her 70s. And she talked about each culture being like a mobile that, you know, like hangs over a little child's bed. And that it has this really intricate balance to it. And so when the Europeans came in, they kind of cut these very specific mobile pieces from certain cultures. So the cultures are no longer functional in that environment, right? With our indigenous people and how displaced they are in their own country. And for me, that is absolutely not okay. But I think for what we're talking about is we need a more global mobile where everybody does fit in and there's an intricate balance that does work better for everybody, as opposed to trying to insert a European mobile into, let's say, South America, right? Which we can also see the divisions there. And you can see these divisions all over the world. So I hear you, and I'm interested in seeing the mobile that kind of comes with us global citizens, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing it a lot more, hopefully, you know, in reflected in the arts and in the media, you know what I mean?
That's our job,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Our
I
job is
think
to educate and address these.
the next generation, without a doubt, is going to be a very outspoken. I mean, us as millennials, right? We've already been burdened with taking a lot of the shit from the generations before us. The next generation, oh my God, they're going to be the real world. You know what I mean?
They're already dope.
Yeah.
You know, like they were some of the first people protesting in the streets about gun violence in schools.
Yeah. No, they're not having it.
No. Yeah, I was so inspired by, like, I remember one of the girl in the protest, she was reading a poem, and it moved me so deeply. I was crying, and she was only 16. I was like, the future. Oh, so hopeful. Powerful women and powerful all kinds.
At the very least, at least it's sexy now. At least it's profitable. So the networks are really going to, I think, finally get behind, empowerment, right? And really, really embrace diversity, multiculturalism.
I have to commend Netflix for that, because the fact that they have a whole package called Black Lives Matter that you can just like look in and then just like go through all this content that they had primed and like ready for this moment. I find that mind blowing, you know?
Yeah.
And all
I
the
always
different
find their content is very like, yeah. Sorry.
You know,
sorry
like there's so many people of color as leading role characters on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Yes, change still needs to happen elsewhere and there as well, but it's really going in a beautiful direction. So I got to commend them. And then also, I'm working on a show called The Astronauts, and it's Ron Howard's production, so with Imagine. And the moment Black Lives Matter hit the street, Imagine and Ron Howard made a statement saying, we stand behind this movement completely. We support our Black actors completely. Because one of the fears for me was that I'd get fired for speaking up and speaking out. And it was the coolest thing, because Netflix and Imagine both said, absolutely not, you're not getting fired, we stand with you. You know, we will do Black Tuesday. Like, they did the whole deal. And I was like, yo, things are shifting.
That's good. That's good to see, because, you know, you definitely see there's like a delineation between certain companies that are sort of, how can I put it, commodifying or, capitalizing on this time, right? But there are true artists out there. There are studios out there. There are people in the business. I know that are really, really, really putting themselves out there and in vulnerable positions. But they've been really fighting for change. I think Chris Haddock was a great example of that. He really was someone that put his foot down and said, "Nah, fuck it. Like there's so many other stories we can tell." I mean, he's done it himself. He's told so many of, the similar stories in a particular world. And finally, he shined the light on, he just moved the camera just like 15 degrees over and found, wow, look at this rich world that we've never touched on, that CBC's never touched on or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you're kind of pressed for time, Bethany, but I wanted to segue into something, speaking on everything we were just talking about. With so much negativity that's out there in the world, how I like to sort of wrap things up and end these chats is I like to come up with sort of a random act of kindness with my guests. So, it like to manifest in so many different ways, but I'm wondering, what can the three of us come up with to really put some positive vibes back out there into the universe, into this, imbalance that we have right now, and make someone's day. Got any ideas?
I want to hear what Fei has to say.
I was like looking at my paintings because I'm like, yeah, actually, because of during the whole time when I was like beginning hit by the level of blunt racist crime against Asian, I was really like, there were days I was just in the couch, depressed, like bawling my eyes out. And then I turned my energy to painting and drawing. Mm-hmm. So I have done a big collections of like acrylic paintings. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. So like I can offer a free painting.
You're so sweet
for someone.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
For one of your audience, or I don't know. What do you guys think?
One of the things that I've been doing is offering free mentorship to Black, Indigenous people of color, especially who want to get into the acting industry. Or there's a couple other ways that I segued into like where I got to today. So if it's one of those areas, like I played semi-pro soccer, so if people can get athletic and an academic scholarship, that kind of thing, that I was like, yep, we can do like a number of sessions of mentorship to kind of get people on their path and get them into the industry. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we can kind of bring these things together.
Ladies,
Curtis, what were you thinking, man?
Ladies, I'm dumbfounded. You guys are incredible on and off the screen, which is very cool to see. If we could chat after this and figure out how we can sort of offer that to the world, I would be very, very grateful for that.
Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it.
I love that idea, Beth. I love that idea.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah, we can all like have like our expertise in some area and then help mentoring more. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, well, yeah, we'll wrap around that, and then we'll find someone for you, Fei. We'll find someone that is maybe a fan or someone that is going through a hard time, and we'll send them a nice piece. Bethany, same with you. We'll figure out. We'll put the search out there and see who would be a right fit. But I'm sure there's tons of guys or girls out there that would absolutely, die to just jump at that opportunity. So that'd be dope. Does it have to be local, or can it?
No, and I've done the mentorship internationally as well. So definitely people from the United States have tuned in and popped in for questions to be answered, and all over. I've had a few people that are local, and one person who's brand new at my agency. And so I took her under my wing. Yeah, it was something that I wish I had when starting out. And didn't, so we kind of have to figure it out. And I always felt like there was this invisible ladder of how to get somewhere, but nobody would tell me which rung to take next. And so I just thought I could offer from my experience, and it's been really, really, really helpful and beautiful.
That's amazing.
And inspiring for me too, which is nice.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Good on you. Faye's thinking about something. Her mind's gone.
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh, that's such a beautiful idea. I could also hop on board, and maybe we can do something together as well on that department.
Yeah, and especially Fei, I don't know if you're interested, but because you have such a beautiful background of coming from China and moving to Canada and getting into the industry and modeling, that might be a rich environment too to offer some mentorship back to you if you feel comfortable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Also for like people who, I think a lot of immigrants don't really thinking about getting into arts or areas that are not conventionally like financially secure. I think it's always interesting to have that kind of conversation, let people see more possibilities.
I think all of that helps, you know, in terms of representation, just seeing anyone successful that can look like yourself, you know, someone to just, you know, seeing is believing sometimes, and to see someone that's young, you know, beautiful, but talented and dedicated, successful, it goes a long, long way for sure.
Yeah.
So, wow, I'm excited. Okay. We'll figure something out. That's good.
Awesome.
I know you got to get going, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But I just have to leave this off with saying that I'm so excited to see you guys. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your summer, and you know, I'm really excited to see what you guys are gonna do next, and as your journeys continue, and I'm rooting for you, and yeah, sending you guys nothing but love.
Thank you. Of course, we'll thank you. Always inspirational. Thanks for this.
Yeah. Thank you, Curtis.
All right, well, you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll chat soon about.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Much love. Mwah.
Mwah.
Go your audition, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah, break a leg.
Thank you, guys.